Hola a todos, ¿cómo están? Hello everyone. En la clase de hoy vamos a estudiar los verbos. Well, we'll illustrate, we'll identify verbs in the first portion, and then you'll do the other portion as your homework. Okay, as usual, we'll go to a larger slide of this portion and see what verbs we have here in the test. Okay, so this is a verb check-in, which is to check, evaluate la pression arterielle. Measure, you can say measure, and this is a verb also to evaluate. And these are imperative tenses, that's why they have this en. They were supposed to be checking and evaluating if they were regular present tenses, but since they are imperatives and command, they are using the opposite ending. So they were supposed to end in "an" if it were indicative, if it were present tense, but they are using the subjunctive. So that's why you see this. So this is a verb, this is a verb. Estar tomando, we just talked about present progressive. Estar tomando is a present progressive of the verb tomar. Ando here is the present participle, and here is the auxiliary estar. Okay, so we have that. Reciten is another verb. Okay, then consejo, give advice, then is another verb. Okay, tomar is the infinitive form of tomar. Okay. Okay, en un lenguaje que los pacientes quienes los cuidan entienden. Two verbs here, cuidar, cuidan, entienden, entender, which is to understand. Okay, so two verbs here, and they are all in the present tense. Okay, cuidar, they all end in, this one, cuidar, is it ends with AR, and entender end in ER, but in this context is used as a subjunctive. That's why it has an ending. You have this one, hacer, which is to do. When we were studying direct and indirect objects, we talk about how the pronoun le could be added to the end of a verb. Here it's added to the infinitive hacer. Hacer is to do. So hacerle is to do it. Okay. So it's a verb. Compartir is a verb, which is to share, is a verb, but it's an infinitive mode here. Fomenten here is a verb as well. And controlar, para controlar la presión, controlar is a verb. Compartir, I already say, is a verb. And then using is a verb. Using is a verb. Is the verb usar, but used as an imperative form. So it's the ending shows that is an imperative, not a regular present tense. Okay. Incorpora used here with a direct object attached to its end. Okay. And ayuda is to help, is the infinitive form, and controlar is to check. Okay, check its blood, his or her blood pressure. Okay, so controller is a verb used at the infinitive form. So that's the end of this in-class illustration, and I suggest that you do your homework before ending this lesson, so as when you are ready, you come back to the next lesson. If you defer completing the homework, it might take you longer. Now that we have just finished, it's still fresh in your memory, and we have just identified the verbs here. It will help you identify the verbs in the other part of the PDF. Okay. Again, thank you very much for your attention. An introduction to the study of verbs in about an hour is the shortest we can do, because this can take 100 or 200 hours to master verbs, to master Spanish verbs. So 1 hour survey with all the information that we have discussed is the minimum you should do when you are studying a verb. So I encourage you, after at the completion of this course, after you have developed the necessary skills to be able to perform vital signs and immerse yourself more and more into the language, and later come back to your grammar books. In the reference, I will recommend a book that's written directly in Spanish that will help you. All these things we are doing, the grammatical terminology that I keep mentioning, and all these tests that we are going through, directly in Spanish, instead of showing you isolated fragment of tests as example to illustrate those grammatical points. At the end of each lesson, we come back to a test that is an authentic test. Authentic in the sense that it's not written for language learning, it's written for the public or written for patient education. So, and then we are using it as material. So it's an authentic test with no modification to the content, and so it's not an adapted material. It's just the format that I have adapted, but the test itself is the same as original and originally intended to people interested in public health and to patient education. So using material like this exposes you to the real language, workplace language illustration. So keep working on your Spanish, keep reading. After we finish the course, read, listen to programs that are in Spanish, and your skill will be building little by little. So thank you for your attention, and see you in the following lesson. Okay? If you've learned something from this mini lesson, please like the video and share it with friends. Also, don't forget to subscribe to this channel so we can keep creating more content for you. Thank you so much. By the way, do you know the fastest route to become a bilingual nurse or physician? Learn specific medical Spanish. And we have a course that will help you do just that. To get the course, go to RxLinguistics.com.